actual big cool moments, they did sort of stop happening. They basically stopped happening. Like whenever the changing of the guard happened. Like basically not a cool thing has happened in this game for a long time. Let's actually like to go through things, and we'll start off with the Shadowed Lands. Nothing cool happened in Shadowlands. Like nothing. I mean, maybe the Sarfang's also your da bit with Anduin. Some people could say that was a big cool moment, but not a single cool thing happened in the Shadowlands. Like, you know, a moment that'd say...
Gosh.
The only cool thing that happened in Shadowlands distinctly didn't feel like Shadowlands or Modern WoW because somebody finally remembered what a character is.
Yeah, low budget accident has been described as, yeah. Yeah, there's, how do I describe this? How does this? Actually, this may not be the best term to use because I'm sure with the average age of our audience, no one will understand, but it completely lacked any form of sauce. It was pointless.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Apparently it's a good thing. Having sauce is a good thing.
What was the status of the cap? Was there a cap? And what did God think about it? How does Zumos work?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. Sauce, not sus. It's not sus at all.
So,
but yeah,
I mean, we've established nothing cool happened in Shadowlands. I mean, some people cried over Ysera.
Sorry, I know something was cool in Shadowlands.
What?
Remoria was cool.
I suppose, yeah. But basically nothing cool happened.
But that's not a story thing.
No, like, you know, sort of classic guttural Warcraft is cool, levels of cool happened. The sorts of things that say in Warlords of Draenor or Legion people thought they were, you know, very much there for. So none of that happened in that expansion. And then to move on to Dragonflight, nothing cool has happened in Dragonflight.
Alexstrasza and Vern and Razageth fought. That was pretty nice.
There was something that was almost cool in the level up flow. And then nothing else cool happened. I mean, maybe the tier sacrifice was cool, but if you go through like patch...
No, it wasn't. That's the part that really bugged me.
It tried.
Yeah, and that's the part that bugged me, right? Everyone was like, sweet, fantastic, excellent. Tyrannil Sylvanas' moment wasn't cool.
That wasn't
you fucking
cool.
midwit. Jesus Christ.
Holy shit. Oh my God. It was lame though. It was lame.
Sorry, that slipped out. I actually don't mean to insult you, but it was not cool. It was the most fumbled attempted cool of all time. It was it had the most potential for cool. And then they immediately went, and we've completely lost any point of it whatsoever.
I mean, in fairness, one could say that was a story crafted by those who gave the appearance that they were brainlets. I'm not saying they are brainlets. I'm merely saying that is the appearance that they gave from their work. Because it was fucking stupid. I mean, even to the point where, and now, obviously, any of my previous comments would not be condoned by you know, anyone on the WoW team. Most certainly not Holly, but there was that interview that Holly did with somebody where she said that as a player, she felt Shadowlands, you know, kind of lost its way narratively. And you're like, yeah. Yeah,
it didn't really lose its way as much as it was picking up speed on the mountain pass at the beginning, and then a little tiny bit of the way into the actual 9.0 storyline, it forgot that there was a turn and just went straight off the mountain. Just like, you know, you're the worst potential case of being a bad driver in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Hitting the like tire busting trap, the spike trap, and just down the mountain you go. I'm sorry, you're defeated.
Do you remember when Sylvanas team rocketed? She fucking team rocketed up into the sky. But okay. Well, we can touch a little bit on BFA. But yes, so nothing cool happened, and they essentially fumbled almost everything that they tried. Oh my God, the Butter King himself, Pelagos. God, Pelagos was awful.
And the worst part of that,
it could have been great,
but that's their problem, right? They, there's a way to frame this. It's like the R butter, exactly. They thought they knew what was cool, right? They thought they knew what was cool, and they were almost right. They were kind of right on the direction, right? You go, here's the new Arbiter. That's kind of nice, right? You could do that. That makes sense. You could go for... fuck me. It's the fucking crown.
Look what they did with
It's
the
the crown.
The Burger King. The Burger King crown.
It's the crown, man.
Why did you do that?
Here
You
is
silly sausages.
Here is possibly the second or maybe third coolest thing in World of Warcraft, the Helm of Domination. How do we make this uncool?
Like,
You would need a team of fucking rocket scientists to make that uncool, and they did. They're actually turbo geniuses because they made the Helm of Domination and the heroes reforging it into a better version that was full of light instead of bad. And they fucking fumbled that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what was the narrative point to stop us getting mind controlled? But was there any other point where someone did get mind controlled in your field? Yeah, but the crown wasn't like a moment. They didn't go, we have this motherfucker with the crown of
it's
wills.
like much like,
Bolvar didn't put it on because he was the one who was wearing it, or they didn't force it on Anduin or some shit that could have been cool. Instead, there's like, and we have this thing in our who's fucking holding it? Primus is holding it.
my two-word
Okay.
review of that narrative is erectile dysfunction. Because it just, that's the way that it was with Shadow. And it's like, listen, no matter how much you flip and slap that thing about, it ain't moving. It ain't happening. I don't know why I just decided to make it ED as a thing. But you know what I mean? Where it was like just the most limp, like that was an expansion that reminded me of like, what's something that's really nice and crispy, but then you put it in the microwave and it just turns into a big slop.
All food.
Like, I mean...
Reheated narrative, like...
Yeah, it was, I mean... Like, at least Soylent has flavorings. At least if I have a Huel RTD, I could enjoy some chocolate sweetener. Shadowlands didn't even have that. I mean, in terms of big main plot, and like that's kind of the thing. And then you move into Dragonflight, and I mean, the level of the dialogue in our cinematics has been almost 100% awful. The only ones that I think have been good are like Emberthal and Abyssian. I mean, they're a little self-indulgent. I mean, oh god, self-indulgent doesn't even cut it for what a lot of these have been. But yeah, you know, look at the cinematic, look at the way that the characters actually talk to each other. You know, like take a character like Caligos. I like Caligos. Now I never want to see him again because of the way he talks, because of the voice direction. Again, that's another really big weakness, I think, with most of the dragon characters, voice direction. I don't know how. Like, I'm sure all of those people can put on great performances elsewhere, but they're like, oh, look at that. Caligos can display this emotion. Cool. Well, we'll just keep it locked in that gear for the entire expansion and never change it, because wouldn't range be a terrible thing? Wouldn't variety be terrible? And that does cut both ways. And it cuts back to old WoW as well, where old WoW would continually undercut, you know, what could have been really cool moments, right? Or really, like, you know, emotionally impactful moments. So I'm not saying that the game is, you know, I'm not saying that we have like a scale, and the scale is galloping abs and beer on this side. And
Galloping abs?
I don't know why. That's just galloping abs and beer and muscles and large axes and things. As a sort of the old vibe. And then the new vibe is the big therapy hug box. Here's the thing, though. What if we merge them? What if we merge them so that we can have big, emotionally intelligent, you know, good character work, and also things that are, you know, spectacle and the sort of Blizzard cool that's got a bunch of cheese in it, but you kind of merge them together with a level, you know, with sincerity, and then you have something that's successful. And they've like never really managed to ride that line well. Like, I think of the Dragons, the only time that Alex Strauss and Northstar have worked for me is in the trailer for Fractures of Time, where they actually talk like they've known each other for a stupidly long amount of time. And I'm like, oh my god, what? They remembered.
Yeah, I'm trying to like formulate exactly what I think what the key is to actually good storytelling that people enjoy. And obviously, there's a billion things like this has been studied since people could scribble things on walls that meant something. Storytelling has been studied. But to me, I think in terms of like recent stuff and modern things that kind of do it right and do it wrong, it's dialogue being shit is a lot of the problem. I think a lot of what fundamentally what I like is people having dialogue and talking to each other and having like clearly things in themselves that change or happen. And there was none of this as expansion. It was all just we're going to give a combined speech where there's almost like a spotlight on every character as they're like, and this is my part that I am going to say, and now, and then the other dragon picks it up and goes, and it is my part to say the thing that I'm going to think. I haven't seen anyone call Virnoth Articuno. That's a good one. Yeah, it was cool for Articuno to change your mind and join us in 15 minutes.
Like there's one way
that actually wasn't Virnoth joining wasn't too bad because they actually bothered to give us a little bit of context for where that might happen.
I mean, yeah,
only a little bit,
but
like
that was quick.
It was quick,
but it was better whiplash.
Than literally nothing.
That was I have internally been decapitated levels of quick whiplash. You know, like, oh, welcome to Fury Incarnate. 5 minutes later, Virnoth has changed.
Yeah, and
There's just the amount of, like, the show don't tell stuff. I think that that's been some of the most rough in a lot of their writing. And I think one of the things that frustrates me, because you know the way everyone's talking about, the hug box and the this and the that, you know, all of that sort of talk is going on. What annoys me is it's like, you have hurt the cause that you tried to serve. That's the bit that really gets me. Because
that's the entire problem. It's literally like,
because that's the thing I want to be really clear about.
No one has a problem with it until they have a problem with it. That's
so you know all the fucking brainlets who look at Anduin in the Silva cinematic and think, oh, he's crying. Oh, what a pussy.
Pussy boy.
I actually offended somebody at Blizzard because I replied to one of those being like, oh, yeah, far better he just keeps it in and shoots up a school. But like, there is a big fucking struggle of like young men and shit. And no, I actually think that cinematic handled Anduin perfectly. And it was a brilliant scene. Absolutely 10 out of 10. No notes. Thumbs up. And the bit that annoyed me is that some of the sort of lovey-dovey stuff kind of felt so forced, so rammed in, that it turned a lot of people sort of against it. And I think they inadvertently shot themselves in the foot by doing that bad. It's a little bit like clicker training a dog, and I know that this is inherently very dismissive of the personhood of people in Twitch chat, but that's okay because you guys are in YouTube chat. So you know the way.
Did you know people just actually have like? There is a default audience-ification of people where people call other people chat. Did you know Zoomers do that now?
What?
Zoomers use chat as like we've invented a new like pronoun that's chat. That's for an unseen audience.
Damn.
Yeah. Like a collectivization.
But like, so you know the way it's instead of actually analyzing the thing in front of them, they go, oh, word association, man, tears, the woke agenda has struck again.
What have sweet baby done now?
No! Right? And, you know, it's just like, what? You're like a fucking clicker trained dog. And so that's the bit that kind of frustrated me. They did such a bad job of approaching those topics that they've trained the audience to have a topic-based revulsion rather than a execution of an idea-based revulsion, because if the idea is badly executed, it's shit, I don't like it. If that same idea is well executed, it's really brilliant, it's strong. And I think that's the sort of thing that frustrated me, because WoW, like, I don't want to go back to old WoW. I don't want to go back to that, like, look, you know the day the Deathwing came? I always thought that was bad. Like, when I played it, I thought it was stupid.
Oh, that dumb shit quest in Canada?
Yeah, all the, like, Lamau, Blood Elf, man's gay! I'm like, wow, very funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so there's, like, me as, like, I don't know, 2010. Me as a 16-year-old thinking that it was pure island stupid. Like, I'm not saying that I want to go back to that stupid shit. What I want is for it to be good. So I would like the strengths of old Blizzard to then be bolstered by shoring up their weaknesses, with WoW storytelling, they had many in the past. Look at the Burning Crusade. Just like, yeah, Illidan, he talks to a skull and he's went mad. Hit print. Done. Next expansion.
Yeah, this guy doesn't really make sense as a villain. How do we make him make sense as a villain? He's bad now. Okay, we want Illidan as a raid boss. Well, that doesn't make sense to any of his lore. Fuck it, dead life. We'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. It's okay. It's grand. It's grand. Yeah, so I'm kind of hopeful for other stuff going forward, but like we could literally talk for a billion years about all of the massive screw-ups and where that's come from. I think it just takes like I'd say I'm hoping that Metzen's re-edition comes with an awful lot of, I think, I guess an outside perspective. Not just from him like kicking the door out and going, right, we need the axes and the beer and the metal again. But
I'll take all of them, please.
yeah, but like, you know, I'm trying to figure out a way to explain this really like succinctly. But it is effectively, look at what your game is, right? Look at all the feedback and don't attach ideology to the feedback. Because this is, and I'm not going to bring it up, but I did say it. We'll talk about the Gala of Gift stuff, the new Love is in the Air thing. But like, it is very much, this is what the current like writing team really love to do.
The same thing.
The same thing they did
Again
for all
and
the
again.
side quests, yeah.
And again.
Yeah, and
again.
yeah, and I see it and I go, this is pretty decent as its own little thing, and I like what you're doing. The execution of it's all fine, but I just don't want it to be here's the same shit over and over
Yeah,
again.
because then it's just like, okay, you've just given us the same chapter rewrote 5 times. You know, with a different plot, but it means the same thing.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, we get it. You've hit home this thing again and 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 again. Okay.
yeah, but the almost maybe ideology is the wrong term, but applying like labels to feedback and going, well, that's from X category of person, so it should maybe be a little bit, not counted as real feedback because it comes from whatever place, and or maybe you just personally don't agree with it.
Well, I just want a degree of diversity within the game. Like, that's the thing. It's so one note.
Yeah, you want actual.
You know, you want your big, like, epic moments. You want your soft, tender. You want them all.
and it's not
Instead
even
of just
just
kind
about
of the same thing again and
yeah,
again.
and it's not even just about big and epic and soft and tender. It's about having a variety of themes, or
Yeah.
if you want to go, you have one big theme, and then you have an awful lot of smaller themes that interact with the same idea. It's like there's a massive amount of trying to be reductive because of how I don't want to like say media literacy is at an all-time low, because I know people say that and they're probably right, but also fuck only knows, it might just be people being more on Twitter than ever before and saying their opinions. Maybe it's actually completely, maybe it's as regular as it always has been. It's just more people are vocal. But like I'll bring an example from a game I've recently been playing, Persona 3 Reload. Right? I know
Wow,
it's
it's
always
not Blue
weird time.
Archive.
It's not BA. I could bring in BA, but it's a little bit more interesting. Whereas P3, I've got a clear point for it, which is you talk about, you ask someone, what's Persona 3 about? And someone goes, it's about death. It's about Nietzsche and philosophy or psychology. And you go, cool. But it's not just that. Because you go to a social link and it's like, well, here's a social link and here's a girl who's afraid of men, and she has like a couple of like social problems in school and stuff. That's one. Here's the other one. Here's an old couple that are getting old. One of them starting to show signs of Alzheimer's. And that's like a story beat. And it all links into the actual, like, the totality of the story. Thematically, not literally.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, if you don't see the end of this social link with the old couple, you're not going to understand. It's not that lore-oriented, that plot-oriented stuff. It's like there's just lots of different things happening, and it all kind of feeds into the same feeling of live life now, because death is going to happen. So life has to be lived now at all stages of life. Enjoy it, etc., etc. Which is, isn't Persona just Carl Jung, the after school club? That's Persona 4. That's all Jung with shadows and stuff. And 5 to a degree with masks, but yeah. And that's where I think that, WoW kind of doesn't have that. And sometimes it never really had. But it still had lots of different things happening going on. It still had lots of different story beats, and it had different bits of just everything that you wanted from a story that was, here's a world at war. And it's a fantasy world. and here's epic questing, and here's some less epic questing. Here's some, obviously people joke about like, go pick some berries out of dung in, was it Nagrand? That was it. I was like, there just needs to be like a lot more of, I guess, things people want to see, as opposed to like a rough narrowing of the viewpoint of what people expect and want out of themes and vibes. And it doesn't necessarily need to be, I guess I regret saying this every time I'm talking about anything, but everything is so oriented on the experience and the feeling and the vibe. They go, what is going to make people feel really strongly in lots of different ways? What do you want people to get out of this? Oh, you want some sort of like positive sentimentality? Then you've got the Taiwan storyline. It was like, here's a little dog. Dog isn't really good at anything. Dog feels left out. Dog finds its purpose. Dog feels happy. It's an unusual purpose, not the expected purpose, but it is purpose. That's good.
There you go. Good. Yeah.
Where's the one where like someone pushes through profound personal suffering to grow? Where's the one where enter trope? Where's the one where enter trope? Where's the one where enter heroic storyline that people engage with? Where are all of these that are backed up by the moments of here's actually feeling strong and feeling epic, and here's the part of feeling defeated.
No, it is modern story. Therefore, it is not about overcoming things within yourself. It is about finding acceptance from the community.
Which is always funny.
That's annoyed me.
Yeah,
that's time again in media where it's like, no. Anyway.
Yeah,
or it can be both.
I always like the old school difference between Western and Eastern heroism stories, where it was always like, well, how are you gonna beat the boss? Are you gonna find the strength within yourself, or are you gonna find the magic gun? I always love those two. The difference.
Are you going to relight the oath stones?
Yeah. Are you going to get well, I mean, this is a bit of a different one. Are you going to get the Master Sword and the 7 talismans from the sages? Or are you going to unlock the power up that was in yourself? Are you going to L3 and R3 accept the truth? Or, as happened in Tekken, are you going to press A to believe in your own heart? Because apparently just 2 video games in 6 months across is press a button to do a narrative thing, which is believe in yourself and win. It's cool as fuck.
There is another side to this, which is just that execution is, in many ways, execution is everything. And execution has also been where a lot of things have fallen over. So a lot of things they wanted to do and weave with these dragons, that could have all been fine if they actually talked like they were, however many thousand years old they are. If they had vocal performances that were not the vocal performances that they had, which were very stiff, especially Alex Strasza. Like, there's just this kind of laundry list of things where it's like, yeah, but, themes, whatever. It wouldn't have mattered if your thematic work was basically perfect because it's been executed so badly. So they kind of messed up the macro, but they also messed up the sort of the execution of things. So it's not like they really had real just standout things that could kind of pull them up. They didn't have that. They also didn't they also weren't more than the sum of their parts. I mean, at least say Battle for Azeroth. It had a few standout bits with the Sarfang stuff that, even though BFA was far, far less than the sum of its parts, it had a few really cool parts that they have cocked up. Or even say, like, take Chromie. Chromie's a really good example. It's like, developers, I get you like Chromie. Sure. But why have you ruined Chromie? Whereas Chromie has been so Flanderized. Flanderizing is essentially the process where Ned Flanders started off as a dude who was a bit, who was Ned Flanders. But as time went on, Ned Flanders basically became the living meme version of himself.
Yeah. You become distilled into being a parody of yourself.
Yeah. So Chromie then turns into a parody of herself.
Because everyone goes, well, what's Chromie's thing? Oh, being quirky gnome.
Quirky and saccharine. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Chromie, no range. Quirky, saccharine, that's it. And congrats, you took a character that I liked and basically rammed it into the ground, and you thought you were doing good.
Which is such a far cry from the deaths of Chromie.
Big far cry from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's just that's a lot of it.
Yeah, I think that's we could talk around it for a billion years, but I think the ultimate thing is execution. I think if you execute a story well enough, then you will magically not have any problems based on the direction or based on any of like the ideas or any of whatever kind of problems you have. You'll get around them if your thing is good enough that no one cares.
People keep on talking about Elmo, and I saw there was some video essay that appeared on my YouTube about like how Elmo ruined Sesame Street. Now, I don't think I've ever watched a Sesame Street before.
No.
I think it was more of a thing in America, though I know it was pretty big here too. But apparently, I don't know, maybe Elmo is also an example of a character being flanderized. I can't say, but I know it's something that people have been talking about. So,
I don't know. The only thing I know about Elmo was Elmo recently went on Twitter and asked if everyone was doing okay. And everyone told Elmo the truth.
Oh, no.
Which wasn't great. I'm just like, Elmo, let me tell you something, Bob. It is not good. We have problems here, my man. And then I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I think it was Elmo. Yeah, Elmo was attacked on... Who attacked? I don't give a shit. Some American celebrity talk man attacked Elmo on a celebrity talk man show or something. Yeah. So, it's avoiding things like that, right? It's avoiding the problems of what if you just do things right instead of bad, maybe? What if you actually just get the correct execution, which is this story would still, if everything was the same, but the lines were delivered better, then it would be less shit.
Yes.
And eventually, once the execution gets good enough, and that kind of flourishes, and to me, it's kind of a little bit about, Larry David is not Celebrity Talk Man. I misremembered. Larry David is actually extremely good comedian and writer. But I think one of the things is it seems like indicative of a production problem where they cannot pay attention to detail. They cannot sit down and go, well, let's do the right thing with all of our energy. Because if you simply did the right thing, you would never do the wrong thing.
Duh! Easy!
Which is
just don't be wrong!
Which is to say, I think I'm hoping that whatever issues of having this creative director being Metzen going forward is that they will not just randomly change your expansion mid-expansion for the crack. They won't look at the entirety of the storytelling and go, oh, we only told 20% of a story, or, oh, we told 100% of a story, but it's all the same bit over and over again. Or they just haven't actually, hold on though, does doing the right thing make the line go up or down? We're operating under the assumption that doing the right thing will eventually make the line go up.